Now we will see class 12 Legal Studies Part 3 Judiciary. 2. Role of Indian Judiciary. The role of courts. Indian judiciary comprises of Supreme Court, High Court and subordinate courts and other tribunals. The role of these courts along with their compositions, powers and procedures for functioning have been elaborated in the Constitution. Supreme Court, adjudicator, interpreter, advisor, activist. Different role of the Supreme Court of India. The Supreme Court of India primarily exercises the role of an adjudicator and the interpreter. This is explained through the different judications vested with the court. Its role as an adjudicator and the interpreter can be understood through the original and appellate judication just vested with the court. Under Article 131 of the Constitution, the Supreme Court is granted original judication. This power is exercised to adjudicate amongst the disputes between the Union and more states and between two or more states. Such disputes must involve some questions of the law or fact on which the existence or extent of the legal rights can be adjudicated. For example, the dispute between the sharing of river or other natural resources between the two states in India can be directly brought to the Supreme Court under the exercise of its original judication. Article 32 of the Constitution further gives an extensive original judication to the Supreme Court for the enforcement of the fundamental rights of the citizens through issuing directions, orders and writs. In brackets, see the Part 1 Legal Studies Class 11. This is popularly known as the writ judication of the court. The appellate judications of the Supreme Court can be invoked by a certificate granted by the High Court. Appeal to the Supreme Court may be made against any judgment, decree or the final order of the High Court in both the civil and the criminal cases. Like the exercise of the original judication, these causes must involve a substantial questions of the law as to interpretation of the Constitution. Substantial questions of law as highlighted above connote questions of law or fact on which the existence or extent of the legal rights can be adjudicated. Apart from the listed appellate powers of the court, the Supreme Court is also vested with the wide appellate jurisdiction. Overall courts and tribunals are provided in Article 136 of the Constitution. Under this discretion, the court may grant a special leave to appeal and receive any judgment, decree and determination, sentence or order in any cause or matter passed or made by any court or tribunal in the territory of India. Besides being an adjudicator and interpreter, Supreme Court also functions as an advisor. Court's advisory jurisdiction may be sought by the President under Article 143 of the Constitution. This procedure is termed as presidential reference and is recognized as the advisory jurisdiction of the court. Under this scheme, the President may refer any question of law or fact of importance, public importance. However, it is not binding on Supreme Court to answer questions raised in the reference. In the last more than 60 years, only a handful of references have been made. The Supreme Court can refuse to provide its advisory opinion if it is satisfied that the questions are either socio-economic or political in nature. So far, we have seen the constitutional imperatives that permit the Supreme Court to adjudicate and advise on disputes coming from the subordinate courts and individuals exercising writ jurisdiction and the President of India. In the recent years, the Supreme Court has relaxed its locus standi, meaning the right of their part of to appear and be heard by the court, and has permitted public-spirited citizens and civil society organizations to approach the court on behalf of the victims for better administration of justice. On the other hand, accounts the court has on its own initiative started cases of public importance. For instance, it has summoned and reprimanded state authorities for the apathy and lack of diligence in running child care homes in the states. All this has been possible through the judicial activism of the Supreme Court through the public interest litigations in bracket Janhit Yochika PIL. This extraordinary jurisdiction has been invoked either through the writs or even by writing letters to the judges. Those moralities are maintained under the guidances for PIL intact by the court. The first ever PIL is listed as Husainarina Khatun, West State of Bihar, and that dates back to 1979. A public interest activities lawyer filed this case on behalf of thousands of prisoners of the Bihar jail against the inhuman conditions of the prison. A Supreme Court bench headed by the judges B.N. Bhagwati declared the right for free legal aid and the expeditious trial of these prisoners, which ultimately led to their release. Since then, PILs have encompassed several issues including socio-economic rights in bracket freedom from bonded labor, legal entitlements in bracket right to food and right to work, environment issues in bracket clean air and water, and political reforms in bracket disclosures of assets by the members of the executive and disbursement of the natural resources done by the government. The progress of IPIL has thus seemed to incorporate several issues, yet common characteristics encompass these litigations. These characteristics include PILs can be termed as a non-adversarial litigations that pit the interest of one party over the other. Rather than focusing on traditional litigations of advisory character, PILs are recognized as tools for social change. PILs are based on the tenets of citizen standing and representative standing, which expands of rights of third parties to approach the court. Three, PIL from its inception is modeled on remedial nature, which aims at creating a dynamic, welfare-oriented model of judiciary. PIL thus incorporates the directive principles those claims cannot be brought directly to the courts into the domain of fundamental rights under Part 3 of the Constitution, which can be invoked before the courts as a matter of rights by the citizens of India. Therefore, PILs are creating new rights and laws within the reclaim of the state. These laws are also democratizing citizens' access to justice, thereby strengthening the democracy in India. 4. PIL therefore further strengthens the role of judiciary as a monitor and watchdog agency. Fear of being dragged to the court via PIL has improved the quality of several social institutions in the country, such as jails, productive homes, mental asylums, etc. However, with the advent and growth of PILs, they have also been misused for the private gains and led to the frivolous litigations on unnecessary issues. They have also been criticized for judicial overreach and stepping into the shoes of the legislate. Let us ponder. Are PILs replacing or supplementing the role of legislate, which is the primary law enacting organ in India? Thank you. Sharing is caring. Subscribe for more information.